So I did a music video with my Nikon Z6, and a couple of people have asked me to talk about the process, what goes into creating a music video. I'm no expert. This was actually my third video I've done. I'm just going to play a couple of examples now of what I've done in the past.
We would even have to say goodbye. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Right? If the world was ending, you'd come over, right?
Take time to make it right. For those who need a glimpse of sunlight, be sure to hold them tight.
Yeah, so this one mainly, I wanted it to be stable. I wanted to use an ND filter. I've never used one before in my life, but realising the jitteriness of the shutter and how it's really going to show up when I'm using something like the Ronin SC, I thought I'd do this video. I'm going to let the video play right now, and you can have a little watch, and then afterwards you can see my ugly mug talk about all the settings and things.
I get my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. And I see, the way I breathe you in is the texture of your skin. I wanna wrap my arms around you, baby, never let you go. And I see, there's nothing like your touch. It's the way you lift me up, yeah. And I'll be right here with you to the end. I get my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. You ain't sure yet, but I'm for you. All I can want, all I can wish for. Nights alone that we miss more, and days we save as souvenirs. There's no time, I wanna make more time and give you my whole life. I left my girl up in Mallorca. I hate to leave her, call it torture. Remember when I couldn't hold her? Left the baggage for me, whoa. I got my peaches out in Georgia. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I get the feeling, so I'm sure. Hand in my hand because I'm yours. I can't pretend I can't ignore. You're right for me. Don't think you wanna know just where I've been. I'm done being distracted. The one I need is right in my arms. Your kisses taste the sweetest with mine, and I'll be right here with you to the end. I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. Badass bitch. I get my life right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So because of lockdown, I thought it would be quite cool to do a couple of music videos. So I contacted my mate Charlie and told him, right, we need to make a video right now. And thankfully he agreed. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, as everyone does, because I learned everything I know from YouTube, like most people. I screenshot some ideas from YouTube. It was mainly Danny Gavert's channel, which really inspired me. His work with music videos and brands like Nike, really like speaks to me, like the colours, the creativity. So I went through his music videos, gave some screenshots, put some screenshots of his music videos up, put them in a PDF and a Pages document, and sent them over to Charlie. And the very next day, we decided to go out and film. So we did Peaches by Justin Bieber, and yeah, it went really well. So the gear I used obviously the Nikon Z6. I use 35mm lens from Tamron, the 1.8 prime, and I used the Ronin SC. I can't think of the settings I used, so I'm just going to flash them up on the screen now for you. I'm pretty sure I used FPV mode, so just so the gimbal wasn't dead steady the whole time, because no one likes that, it's a bit boring. So FPV mode, you can move around the gimbal and it will follow your movements a bit better. I try and be quite steady with it. I don't want massive movements, and if I did, then I'll just move the gimbal a bit faster. Balancing the Ronin SC with the adapter was pretty cumbersome. I mean, it took me about an hour the first time, and since then it literally only takes me about 30 seconds now. But it was a bit of a pain trying to balance it with the variable ND filter. So it was my first time using the ND filter. I know, kill me. So I wanted, the cinematic frame rate. So I used the cheapo ND filter, variable one. I couldn't tell you what stop I was on. I literally just rotated it until the histogram looked nice and slightly exposed to the right. So I shot the whole thing in 25 frames a second. Now people might go, oh, 25 frames a second. Why are you not using 24 frames a second? Well, I'll tell you why, because whenever I shoot weddings on 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second, I always have problems, and there's always a light in the background flickering, and as soon as I change to 25 frames a second or 50 frames a second, it goes away. So that's my reasoning. It's something to do with the electricity hertz or something in our country. But yeah, that's exactly why. So the only thing I was using to control the exposure was the ND filter on the front. So I'd have the Ronin SC on, everything would be nice and steady, and I'll just adjust I'll just reach over the camera and adjust the exposure using the variable ND filter. So quite a lot of people hate on Nikon a bit for its lack of true log recording, and Nikon do have a feature where that you can send in the camera for a hardware update or a software update, hardware update, whatever it is, and then that will enable you to shoot in 10-bit RAW as long as you have an external recorder like the Atomos Ninja. Now I don't have that recorder, so I shoot in the neutral pitch profile. I don't mess around with it at all. It is the normal neutral pitch profile. And then I get a LUT I found in Daniel Schiffer's store, and yeah, put it about 60% opacity, and yeah, I think it looks great, to be honest. Now, aspect ratio, normally 4K 16:9, but for the true cinematic look, I think you need 2.35. Maybe I'll put it overlapping now in case I was wrong. 38x40 by 2160 is the resolution of 4K footage in the Nikon. But if you divide 3840 by 2.35, you get, I think it's 1634. So you have 3840 by 1634 as your sequence size, and then you won't have any need for the letterboxes at the bottom or the top. And then you can also drag the clip up and down, so if you didn't have it framed perfectly, you can frame it perfectly in post, which is quite good. Autofocus. Now, Nikon's got a bad rap for autofocus. I used a non-native lens. I used a Tamron lens. I used the full autofocus, so it locks onto faces. It locks onto Charlie's face really, really well. I can't fault it. The only thing bad about that lens is that it's actually quite noisy. We weren't using any of the audio on the camera. It was all good. I'll play you a clip of it now, actually, so you get to hear what the camera hears. So you'll be able to hear a bit of the focus breathing from the camera, well, from the lens. One thing I would have done better is I did say how good the autofocus was. I probably would have used the focus motor, but the manual focus motor I've got, which came with the SC, is crap. Well, it's crap with the FTZ adapter. Like, I really do mean it's crap as well. So yeah, it's crap. It won't balance at all with the FTZ adapter. The FTZ adapter is far too heavy. Yeah, so looking back, like for my next video, I'd probably like to have sold my Tamron for the native S lens. That would enable me to balance it properly and actually use manual focus. Then again, do you really need manual focus in a video like this? So the process of shooting a music video, you have to do, ideally, if it's a performance based, so I really need a band for my next project, is to do one long take over and over again. So we didn't have anyone with us. So we were just on the end of Ramsgate Pier for most of the shoot, and then we walked over to Pegwell Bay, and that's where we ended up. And then a couple of days later, we shot a couple of bits of nighttime footage. You do a few takes. I think we did, for the entire video, we did 9 single shots. So 9 single shots, put them in Premiere Pro, sync them up nicely, get to pick which camera angle you want, export, done. Pretty easy. I do have one major tip when filming a music video. After you do a few takes and you have the files on your computer and you can sync everything up, Premiere Pro will sync everything up for you. Now that is only if the audio file it has is good. So I recommend when you play the music, well, before you get to the shoot, just tell the artist to get the audio file and to add a count in. Now, if that song's got an intro, maybe double the intro. In this case, we just had a couple of drum beats at the beginning, 4 bars, nice and loud, louder than the actual track. So therefore, no matter how far away I was away from the speaker, because we only had a little one in this pocket, it would always sync up, and I'd be able to sync it up automatically in post. Yeah, really glad we did that. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Subscribe. I'm going to hopefully make more music videos in the future. I've been nagging on at friends and people in Facebook groups just to let me, keep creative and lock down, which hopefully won't be lasting too much longer. And I'll be back with wedding behind the scenes things, which will be quite good. Yeah, ciao.